Jay Cannon, former deputy mayor of Hopewell Township, New Jersey, and current president of Camden High School Alumni Association.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody for coming. Y'all building the bar pretty high as far as what we're talking about. I want to begin with one of my personal beliefs, is that education is the transfer of knowledge from one vessel to another. In saying that, we understand that the transfer of knowledge is not always verbal. Sometimes it's by example. We learn what not to do as much as we learn what to do. We look at where we want to go, and we see the actions of others, and we think that we can follow that vein and get to where we want to go. The media plays a big part in how you pick your final destination and the route that leads to that goal. We see hip-hop music, we see athletes, we see all these professions. And oddly enough, there's always a negative associated with all that success, especially if you're a black man. You don't see a record mogul who didn't start off selling drugs. You don't see it. You don't see a beauty queen who didn't dance in videos. You don't see it. You don't see the positive images that would make you reconsider the path that you take to the goal that you want to reach. Another thing that education is it's a mental condition. You learn how to stay within certain confines to get along to go along, so to speak. Law enforcement is the control of those confines. They put you in the system, they create a law, and you have to obey the law or you go to jail. It's just that simple. Now, the law, as this sister was saying, okay, the law has been constructed by those in power. And anytime some kind of social movement takes place, they use the law and the law enforcement agencies to squash that movement, to squash that mentality, to squash that freedom. Now, when I was growing up, people would, the teachers would ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? Some of the kids in the class had answers that the teacher said, no, you can't be that. You know? So at the very beginning of you trying to, as a child, trying to figure out what they want to be, and someone's already told you that that's impossible. We have President Barack Obama, a man of color. We had so many people of color that just wept on that day because they never thought it would be possible. And then they're weeping. They never took the time to actually look at what he's doing in office. Now, I'm not going to get into all that. But what I will say is that the system was predicated on the same injustices that the Indians occurred, Native Americans, okay? How could you be a Native American and go into a court which has a language that wasn't your language, laws that wasn't your laws, judges and prosecutors that didn't come from where you come from? And their whole agenda was to take everything that you had, including your freedom. So, because I'm part Native American, then I can identify with those struggles. Because I'm part African American, I can identify with those struggles. There has never been a time in all my success that I didn't have to wonder whether or not my color was a plus or a minus. Did someone want to exploit my color and lift me to a height so that they could get other people of color to follow them through me? That's what you have to look at. When we talk about unity, unity is the most deadliest weapon on the face of the planet. No matter how many derogatory names someone calls someone based off their race, their color, their religion, at the end of the day, if you look in the mirror and you call yourself a consumer, that is where the real power is. Because there is not a big business that has not been funded from the dollars out of our pockets. It doesn't exist. It will never exist. So what do you do with your dollars? That's the question. The other mechanism that's as strong as a dollar is a vote. You don't have to have money to vote. You don't even have to have money to get to the polls. They want you at the polls so bad that they will bring a bus to your neighborhood and make sure you get on it. But here's the trick. Once you close the curtain, they don't know what you did in the booth. So to offset that, they make sure they control the machines. We have to understand that the only way to break the machines is to overwhelmingly vote so that the machine can't tabulate that big of a difference. We don't come out and vote because we don't think it makes a difference. But it does. Because all the judges, all the prosecutors, and most of the jurors go and get their power to use against the people. Now, I spoke to a lot of people. A lot of people try to get out of jury duty. You might be the only defense that that person sitting in that box has. Why would you not go to jury duty and then you're looking for a jury of your peers when all your peers are out in the street? Voting sets the tone of what's acceptable and what's legal. We accept what's legal, doesn't mean it's moral. How do we get past our mindsets, our own mindsets of what we think of a person who's been incarcerated? That's a personal step that we have to take. It's the same difference if you decide that you want to be one religion or another. All the things that you thought was outside of that religion, you stop. You go in, head first, feet full in for some religion. But you won't do that for your own kids. You won't do that for your own freedom. You won't vote. You won't back a candidate who looks like you, talks like you, and works like you. I heard the president say that Congress should try to live off the minimum wage. Why don't he start by freezing their pay? Why don't he start by cutting down their vacation days to 6 weeks a year? They got 33 weeks a year vacation, and they won't pass 6 weeks for somebody who's having a baby? Now, what I'm saying shouldn't even be shocking. All of us should be paying attention. Education is what we know, but it's not the truth. True knowledge stands on its own. And once a person is awakened and understands the value of true knowledge, they can't go back to sleep. I drive around and complain about every driver I see who does something stupid. But it wasn't until I understood that the only car that I could actually be responsible for was mine. So if somebody's weaving in and out, I let them go. I get out their way. But this is the case that me understanding what I can control. I can control the fact that I'm here speaking to all of you today. All of you today can control who you speak to when you leave here. It's what are you going to do? Someone said, the President Obama turned his back on the black people. And that he should have did more for the black people. And my response was, what did we do to make him proud of us as a race?
A lot.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Okay, when you have people fighting, okay, and by a number of people in this room, okay, everybody's not fighting together. I'm not saying that we haven't done anything, but here's one simple thing that all of us could do. It don't cost us no money. Check your child's homework. Actually, sit down. Don't ask him, did he do it? Don't ask her, did she do it? Because she'll always say yes. Sit down and check their homework. Now, kids are smart. They'll know, if you're only going to check this so far, that's all I got to do. When you go to the school to talk to a teacher, have a conversation with the teacher. Because children, they learn from us. They watch us to see how we get what we want. And if you use some kind of manipulation, that's what they learn. Most kids in broken households are the best manipulators you will ever see. I've been through it, you know? They don't even have to be in a broken household before they try to play mommy against daddy. You know? They know where the authority is, and they figure out how to get around it. So we know where the authority is. The authority is in the elected officials. The authority is in the judges that they appoint. We got Citizens United. The worst thing that we could ever have that says that you could just buy office. That's what it equals to. Corporate America has been on their game since day one. And we all need jobs. So you're not going to say anything to upset your employment situation. You might back some workers who want better working conditions. You know, y'all might come together and unionize. And people forget why unions exist. Unions exist because corporate America was treating everybody like a slave. They didn't care how young you were. All they wanted was their product. And they knew that if they didn't get it out of you, they'd get it out of somebody else because they created hunger. They created poverty. They created the minimum wage. The original minimum wage was $0. So when it comes down to corporate America, I'm not asking you to sacrifice your position. What I'm asking you for is to vote. Find candidates, or be a candidate, that will do what's right for the 99% of the people. We always talk about majority rules. We got 1% of the population running everything. That's not majority rules. So when push comes to shove, it all starts with us. It starts with what we teach each other. I came here to learn. You know, I'm thankful that you let me speak, but I'm far more interested in what you think, because it is what you think that really matters. As a person who was elected to office, I never thought my one vote was just my vote. It was never that we sit in office and I talk about what's best for people. No, I tried to sit and listen to what the people wanted me to do. Now, whether it was the right or wrong thing, we got together, put a bunch of heads in the room, and we figured that out. If the people wanted the wrong thing, something that wasn't in their best interest and didn't understand, then we explained it to them. After we explained it to them, then it was still majority rules. Because that's what you really want. That's really what you want. I'm your representative. I'm your voice. If that's really what you want, and I can't dissuade you from it, I could determine whether or not I want to continue to be a part of it. And I could walk away and let you have what you want. People don't understand the power that they have in a vote and the power that they have in their dollar.
Well, you know, if you're on probation of the vote, you can't vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We're gonna have question and answer when, after
I
the,
just wanted to talk
Okay,
about
yeah.
it.
So,
well, we'll have question and answer, after all the speakers. And
So-
we're going to a pizza place after to continue, so.
So basically what it comes down to is that when you close the curtain in the voting booth, that's your power. That's your holy place. But you gotta go to the polls to close the curtain. And every time you take a dollar out of your wallet, then you gotta know where the dollar is going. All of these big box companies came as a result of shutting down all the mom and pops. You shut down the mom and pops, now you control the community. You talked about how you got all of these one-way streets, you know, how you got bridges. You look at any sci-fi movie, first thing they do is cut off the bridge. Don't let the citizens out of the city, cut off the bridge. And they will put tanks and everything else on that other side of that bridge to make sure nobody get over. And they do the same thing politically. They redistrict all the voting districts so that they keep their advantage. And when they want something, they come for it. They take it. And what do? We sit there and let them have it? Or do we fight?
Fight.
So Camden has its own struggles. But its struggles are linked to all urban cities all over the nation. But you gotta start somewhere. If we do this strong enough, big enough, everybody will start looking at us. Believe me, I know. Right now I got Bill Gates following me on Twitter. Little me. What do you want me for? Because I'm talking about Common Core, I'm talking about education. I'm talking about freeing the minds of the kids and freeing up their opportunities. I want to make sure that every kid could be whatever he wants to become. And that he has the best examples in his parents to do that. And if his parent is a returned citizen, he should learn from that lesson. He should just learn that, you know, how to get over, how to make do. Because we've been doing that since we got here. We've been doing that on the ships that they brought us here on. We made it through. We did whatever we had to do to survive the journey. Things ain't changed. Black people, people of color, all underserved people in every community figure out how to make it work. But the one thing that we seem to have forgotten is that how it used to work was everybody shared. How it used to work is that you can't do something 2 blocks away and think your mama not gonna find out. How it used to work is when my kids come home, I'm looking for his friends, making sure they all get home. How it used to work is cops pull us over, they got plenty of witnesses, because we all sitting there together. No, we ain't gonna rat each other out, but you gonna tell the truth. He didn't do nothing. So we have a media that's poised to demonize any victim caught in their crosshairs. We have a media that's poised to exploit images and activities that are negative, and we support them not even knowing that we support them. Look at TV. If the show shows a man who dealt drugs and now he's a media mogul, turn it off. How about that? Read a book. You know? I just want everybody to understand that the only person that you can actually control is yourself. And if you commit controlling